Mine too. I get my other. Jacob going on?
What's up, Crashed It Podcast? This is Jonathan Wood, episode number 43 on the Crashed It Podcast. We thank everybody for tuning in, all the likes, subscribing. Our YouTube channel is 250 subscribers from our goal of 1,000 this year. We appreciate everybody jumping on there, hitting that subscribe button. We thank everybody for tuning in to episode number 43 on the Crashed It Podcast. Tonight, we got a little bit different podcast than we normally do. We're going to have our figure eight driver previews for our Lucky Sevens Promotions figure eight season opener of the Worthy Bail Bonds Figure Eight Championship Series this Saturday, 7 p.m. start time on that. Before we get to that, we missed last week. We're going to review on just a couple things that happened. Special thanks to all the drivers that showed up at Lebanon, Missouri Derby. I went ahead and recorded there. Thanks to all the drivers who went out there and put on a show for not only the fans, but for all the followers on my YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys. A lot of hard hits, and it was kind of difficult for me to make selections for our top hits of the week video. But this week coming up, like I said, we're looking forward to our Lucky Sevens Promotions Worthy Bail Bonds season opener of the Figure Eight Championship Series. That'll be Saturday in Russellville, Missouri. 7 p.m. start time. We're going to pull the flyer right now up on the screen for you. As you can see, it starts at 7 p.m. We're going to have a $750 to win for that. Second place, $300, third, $200, and fourth is going to be $100. I'm going to be selling some Crashed It stickers, $5 a piece. All the money is going to go straight back to the drivers. The Crashed It, we're going to have the Crashed It Heat of the Night or Race of the Night, whichever heat or race is the best one of the night, like the closest finish, or like you have a really good battle back and forth. We're going to have some money for the winner of that heat or event to throw at you guys as well. But you're also getting, if you come to watch that, you're going to get to experience Powder Puff, the youth bump and run, and the Power Wheels as well. Should be a great time. I've been getting a bunch of Snapchats from all sorts of drivers, and we can't be more excited for the season opener. Also this week, we're going to have No Mercy is a big derby that's going on across the country. That's going to happen up north in the Northeast. No Mercy 3, I believe. So that's going to be a good show if you're not going to be able to make it to our figure eight race here in Missouri. Be a good place to tune in and watch that No Mercy Derby. You can catch all the action. If you miss something, I'll be recording the figure eight as well. If you miss the Derby, you can go to the YouTube channel and check it out. All the videos are up from that. Joshua, do you have anything you want to throw out there about the event to the drivers? I think the gates open at 4, maybe.
Oh yeah, start time at 7. Last year, I think most of them started at 7:30, so we're moving everything up to try and get you home at a more decent hour. But yeah, I'm freaking pumped, man. I started out this week pretty nervous. I don't know what it is. I always get nervous. I'm still pretty nervous about the turnout for the first show, and just kind of I know that sets a stage for the rest of the year, but man, I'm excited. I got a couple new builds sent to me, and I don't know. I just kind of think back to like the first show whenever I was running. You stroll in there with your new build, and other drivers are kind of looking at it, going, "Ooh, man, that thing looks tough, or that's gonna be hard to beat, or something like that." So I don't know, man. There's just this energy around the first show of the year, and I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah. Speaking of energy, I've been keeping tabs on how many new builds I've got sent to me. I'm at 22 right now. 22 fresh builds. Whether or not we see them all at Russellville, that's going to be. I've talked to a lot of people, and they've kind of told me where they're going to bring their builds out, or certain ones they want to preview them at a certain show, and I just can't wait. I know I can think of 10 offhand. I just can't wait to go check out when they get there. They've we got a lot of guys that are trying some new things this year. I just want to say that, and I'm sure everybody's going to notice it when they see them pull off the trailer, because there's some really interesting stuff out there. And then you've got the guys that, that dialed in their car all year long last year, and they know exactly what their cars are going to do. And they've been fine tuning them over the winter as well, checking every bolt, and then they're ready to just go out there and do what they know is going to happen with theirs. And that part of the season opener is what I look forward to the most. You got guys that are in fresh builds that have no idea what their car is going to do when they hit that first corner. So,
yeah, it's there's so much, like, there's just this energy around the first night of the year. This is Demolition Derby and Figure Eight. They're all copycat sports. So somebody will see something work for another guy, so they want to try that. And then it's also, above and beyond copycat. It's also, people want to be the tone setter. They want to try something new that works. So a lot of people are trying something new and hoping, they could be the person getting copycatted off of. And then there's also, people that are copycatting, the previous success. So, and when you do that, you start to get, more competitive fields as we've seen. So hopefully some of these newer drivers that are copycatting for the first, or they're getting better at copycatting, it'll be interesting to see them in some better equipment and some better builds.
Yeah, it looks like you guys picked up some sponsors. I see on the flyer, JP Lawn Care coming back, Shane DeWest Floor Lawn Service and more coming back. Full Send Mafia, that's a new one on the flyer there. And Nathan's Tire Service, we're happy to have them back with us as a sponsor as well. Worthy Bell Bonds, still your primary sponsor. White's Automotive and Towing. And we got Ray's Lawn and Landscaping and JM Derby Products. So that's pretty cool. If someone's listening to that want to sponsor still, there's still time to do that. Just reach out. There's no better bang for your buck when you're looking for sponsorships than to jump on board with these guys. I mean, we put on a bunch of shows all year long, and we, as an announcer, I'm up there, I make sure to talk about the sponsors and what they do and what they can bring to you as a, someone in the stands. And that's something that I can't wait to look up and research a little bit more about each of these companies that are coming on. We're going to more individualize things a little bit more this year when it comes to sponsorships. And I can't wait to just grow a bond with our sponsors that keep them coming and keep people going to them.
Yeah, no joke. It's Landon is a huge supporter, and we can't thank him enough for coming back on and being the Figure Eight sponsor, the title sponsor. If you're ever in jail, call him up. I don't think there's a better bail bondsman out there. You might not be able to skip bail on him, but he'll catch you a deal to get you out, I'm sure. But guys, just any driver, I don't care if you're a Lucky Sevens driver or a driver for another promotion company, or maybe you're just a fan, but support those that support you guys. If you ever have a chance to support any of our businesses, please do so. It means the world to them, and it means the world to us. And all of our sponsorship money goes right back to the drivers. So that they are helping grow the sport out of their pocketbooks. So we can't thank them enough. One sponsor that's not on this flyer you got up showing everybody, the Russellville flyer, is Tobin's Towing. I kind of bodged that one, but he's sponsoring all of the trophies for the youth races this year, which is so awesome. we get so caught up in, the figure 8 point series or the demolition derbies. We sometimes the youth drivers go by the wayside, and yeah, I'm excited to watch them run for the first time. So
Yeah, I've got a couple pictures sent to me of some youth builds. I did not include them in my 22 that I had counted, but yeah, they're anxious as just like any other driver. They've been cooped up all year long. This is kind of the knock the dust off the car or whatever you want to call it race, and can't wait to watch them guys go out there and girls uh, go out there and compete. I like seeing kind of you're starting to see like the rivalry start at the youth age too. Like you got a couple of youth that are, they really look out for that other driver that, could be potential tough competition in their mindset. And I've talked to a couple of them before the race. They're like, just as long as that other kid don't beat me, I'm gonna be all right, And I like that. It's fun to hear that at such a young age. And these drivers, they're having a blast out there. One thing just want to emphasize though, the youth drivers are the ones driving the cars, guys. We don't want anyone pulling the steering wheel or anything like that. During their youth race, we want to make sure the youth that's driving the car is the one controlling the car. I just wanted to throw that out.
And we get it if there's a corner or something, or you don't want them to hit a wall or turn to a wreck, but it can't be every corner or every other corner. Just let them drive the car. But yeah, so before we go on to this kind of preview, there's been a lot of talk about double driving and how that affects the points, and kind of it really, just like last year and some years before it really changes the outlook on some nights. So for this year, it was you get the points for the heat race, so up to 10 points with both cars. For this year, we're just going to take your best car. So for each entry is its own separate points, and we're going to take your best points entry of the night. So you can bring 2 cars, but you're only going to get points for 1 car each night. Okay, I don't want to take away from the guys that are bringing 2 cars, but I don't want to give them an unfair advantage in the point series. So that's kind of where we went. We think that's the best way to move forward. So that'll be how we go about 2023 with the double driving.
Yeah, I like that. I like that move. I think you're going to see a points race that's going to mimic or mirror that decision. I think it's going to come down to the wire. If you got anything else, without any further ado, we're going to get to our drivers previews. I asked drivers to send me a picture and some information about them, and I kind of took that and added some stats to it, and we're going to kind of make predictions and just talk about the drivers themselves and kind of what they're bringing to the table and what we're looking for out of them in the 2023 season.
Let's do it.
All right, first driver on the chopping block, none other than the number 90 of Dylan White, driving a Chevy Cavalier with 17 years of experience. He boasted 6 top 10s in 2022 with an average heat finish of 3.18. In 2022, he finished 8th in points, 1 spot worse than his 21 season with a 7th place. And in 2020, he was your Lucky Sevens Promotions Figure 8 champion. He also, last year, he got the Perfect Attendance Award. Dylan is a driver that he's done some impressive things over the last couple of years. Anytime you can finish in the top 10 in 3 years in a row, that's something to hang your hat on, especially with the level of competition he's going against out there. I think he's really shooting to kind of recap get back up into the top 5 or maybe win points this year. I've kind of stopped by his shop a couple of times, and I like what I've seen. He's been working hard on not only customer cars, but his cars, and I can't wait to see what he's going to bring to the table in 2023.
What kind of cars he got in there, Jonathan? Is he sticking with his Cavaliers, or is he
I don't
going with
know. You
something
guys will just
different?
have to find that out. I told people that I won't give away too many secrets. A lot of it's that initial holy crap when they're pulling in the track with the car on the trailer. I got to give some of this up for your imagination, but we look for big things out of Dylan. One thing I'll say about him, he really changed his season. 2020, that's when he really turned a switch on his career. Before that, he is known as kind of the driver. You'd bump him and he'd lose the stuff and junk his car out before the end of the night. And the last 3 years, he's really changed his driving style and has worked out really well for him.
Yeah, he the opening night last year, he ended up with the top 5 finish. He ended up 4th or 5th. He ended up 5th. So he's he's a hell of a driver. What do you think he needs to change to get back onto the podium? You think it's been driving? You think it's been equipment?
I think it's mechanical issues for him over the last couple of years. We've seen him just changing motors out after motors. I don't know if he's putting too hot of a tune in them or if he's trying to get his pipe really red again. He used to have that pipe freaking glowing. I called him, every car he'd show up, it's like a glow stick out there going around the track. And I'd say, man, what the heck are you putting in that thing? I don't know if he's tuning them hot again or what. I actually talked to him and he said that when the year he won, I think he didn't have an Ecotech engine, if I remember right. It was just a regular 2.2, and he'd been trying the Eco stuff. And sometimes you got to go back to what works best for your driving style.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Seems like he's always right there. He's always top 3 or top 5, and then he breaks down or he makes a mistake or someone just takes him out or something. But
I think you'll see him in the top 10 quite a bit. All right, our next competitor, we call him the wild card. It's the number 27 of Michael Belcher. He's running the 2000s Impala. This is his 3rd year. In 2021, he got 71st place. 2022, 48th place. So he's made a jump, and we're looking for big things out of him in 23. I know he's looking forward to this season. I think he's one of them drivers that's really coming along. Last year, we seen his finishes in the heat races that he showed up for. He's more competitive. We've seen him out front a few times. He got passed here and there, but we seen him. He has the potential to lead the pack for a couple laps, and I think this year we're going to see him in the A main more than we've seen him in the past.
Where I'd like to see him? I'd like him to show up on time for once. He's always rolling in late, like right at the end of tech. I hope in 2023 he turns over a new leaf.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and for what he brought to the table last year, he didn't do too bad. That one car, he could barely get it to run to get it out to the track, and he still passed some cars out on the track. So, I'm excited to see how this new one's going to go for him.
Yeah, I think he's one of those drivers that haven't made the A main yet. So I'll be interested to see if this is his year to crack the A main.
Oh yeah, I think he will one of these races. All right, our next driver, Wes Jordan. He says he's driving a Focus, but that's an old car. Yeah, he's a 7-year veteran. His average heat finish last year was 2.43, which was really high on our list. In the heating up award that Joshua keeps track of, he had 3 top 10s in 22. I think he won a race last year. But he got 10th in points last year. The year before that, he was in 6th place in points, and the year before that, he was 11th. So he was another driver that hangs around top 10 area when he's out there. I know we talked to him earlier in the year, and I don't think he's gonna run for points as much in the figure 8 because he's got a lot of compact stuff going on. He says he's one of them drivers I would guarantee he'll be in a car at one of these shows.
He'll be there Saturday. That guy is so full of junk. Yeah, I believe the show he won was Versailles. I think he got second in Eldon and then Versailles. So he kind of did back to back, kind of got a little momentum going. But yeah, he's
That's right.
He's a hell of a driver, but he's a wild man when he wants to be.
We call him the wild child, and sometimes he puts on the show and the fans love it. Sometimes the drivers that are on the receiving end don't like it so much, but he makes it fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see how he does in the compacts, but I have a feeling he'll be around figure 8s. At least I hope so. He's super good for the sport.
Yeah, I hope to see him out there. He's one of them drivers I just love watching. He'll get everything he can out of the car, and he just puts it in there with all of his might. When he comes into the corners, he don't let off. You can hear that thing singing all the way around the track, and I mean, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our differences. There's some people that have their differences with Wesley, for sure. But it's hard to find another guy with as much passion for this as him. So I wish him all the best.
Yeah, we had him on the podcast last year, and man, he had a passionate story on how he came into the figure 8 and just the love of the sport he had, and we can't wait to see. I hope to see him back out there this year, and I'm sure we will eventually. If not the first one, yeah, that'd be even cooler. All right, our next one, we've got a rookie driver, Andrew Rolfing, in a 1990 Dodge Dynasty, driving in the no-lift racing team. He's had 4 years of demolition derby experience. He probably reached out. I know he's buttoning up a few things on his car. I told him to reach out to you last night. I don't know if he ever did, but
oh yeah, had the FaceTimes rolling this week. He was one of my FaceTimes. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, that's the best way to do it. Sometimes it's hard to explain things. But these guys they're a new group of guys that are coming into the figure 8 sport. And if you haven't had a chance, go listen to the podcast of, I think it's episode 40, 41 with Never Lift Racing. They just want to go out there and have a good time and try to work their way into a feature or try even to place one of these nights. And they've been putting in the time in their cars. They just seem like a fun group of guys to be around, and I can't wait to see them out there. They're all planning on being at Russellville this weekend with their new rides, and can't wait to see their finished product.
The old Dodge Dynasty. I love the car variation.
Yeah, Dodge Dynasty. Look at the headers. Love it. Also, he put a hand e-brake in that thing, so it should handle pretty good. They've got a few setup things they touched on that they're going to try out this year, and I'm excited to see it. They've got some monster front tires on that thing. He sent me another picture of man, things are freaking monsters. He shouldn't have problems getting any traction.
Derby background coming to the figure 8 side.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to see how some of this transitions, because some of their stuff is from the Derby side of things that we're going to see, and I can't wait to see how it transitions into the handling of cars. And who knows, they might set a new precedence of something we see on all the cars soon. You did this one just because he put it on there. Vince growth off, number 27. He's retired. I keep giving him crap for the moment. If he keeps showing up, he's going to bring a car to one of these events. He won the big graveyard smash back. Let me look at that check.
2017.
2014. He was the graveyard smash winner, that big $2,500 win race. And he's won a lot of races with that car that you see in the picture. And I bug him. I tell him,
he's so full of it. He got lucky one time and decided, I'm going to hang it up now.
yeah.
Take your money and run.
Oh, he ran a couple more. This one, I think this picture is actually, well, right before they showed up to Eldon in those cars. Garrett Ferguson's our next driver. He's driving an 04 Cavalier, 3 years of experience. 2022, he finished in 17th in points, 21, 19 in points. Last year's average finish was 4.64, so that's pretty good through the heats. Something that we're looking to see him improve on is his heat races. He's a guy that puts up fast laps constantly. He just can't put together the full race. Something happens out there on the track, he gets caught up in traffic or something, and we've seen it last year. We started seeing flashes of the brilliancy of Mr. number 74 Ferguson. He started coming through there. He had 3 top 10s in 2022 and perfect attendance last year.
Yeah, and I think he got started off pretty good. Well, good. At the opening show, he finished 10th in the feature. So, sure he's looking to repeat the top 10. I'm interested to see how the whole FR racing crew. It seems like they get better and better every year.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, they just, revamped their cars from last year. So they're going to have an idea of what their cars are going to do when they're out there. And that's just something that we look forward to, is just to see the mixture out there. And the one thing I want to say about that FR racing team, I've walked around these pit walkthroughs, them guys, that whole family, everybody in their group, they're there for a good time. And they're the ones that, I see them helping out other drivers and, just other people around the pits. They're just a great group of guys to be around. And I can't wait to see, their hard work and dedication from over the years start to pay off. And I think this year we might see it happen.
Great group of guys and girl, Jonathan. The queen will have you slain.
Not forget the queen. Yeah, she yeah, I wouldn't forget her.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how old Garrett does. I think he's got a good shot to do a lot of good this year. Probably better than his brother.
Oh, well, he beat him to the picture thing. Garrett, I didn't get a picture from his brother, but I know he's probably been busy getting the cars all ready this week. That whole Ferguson clan, they're dedicated. I think a lot of them were in the perfect attendance last year.
Yeah, almost all of them. So.
That's a big commitment for a whole team. Yeah. All right, we got another rookie coming out with Never Lift Racing, Josh Powers. He's going to be bringing a 1994 Honda Civic. Think this is the guy they said they're going to call Hazard, but I wasn't sure. I didn't see the cones on the car, but one of their cars they're going to have cones on. That's going to be the Hazard guy. But I love the setup that I'm seeing out of these guys. These guys are, they're trying new things with the derby wheels and stuff in the back. And his header, you can't see it in this picture, but it's one of a kind, custom made. And that thing, it's probably as wide as a bucket almost around, like the circumference of it. He showed me some pictures right after they got off the podcast. He's like, man, I gotta show you this. He goes out to his garage, shows me on video his header and stuff, and it's a one of a kind header. I'm shocked it's not a little louder than what he says it is. I think this car here is going to be pretty fast, though. It looks, them Honda Civics are really fast. We've had a lot of guys with a lot of history have really good luck with them throughout the years.
Yeah, he's got some solids on the back. So again, he's mixing that derby experience with the figure eight. I'll be interested to see. I'm sure a lot of eyes will be on those solid wheels, even just trying to dissect how it reacts to on the figure eight track.
Yep. Oh yeah. There was a lot of eyes last year when Wes Jordan had him. The last race, for him to get Illumina at a corner like that was pretty impressive. And
yeah, I think Illumina with no e-brake, so it'll be interesting to see if Josh can handle with his e-brake with the solids, or there's just so much variables that all these drivers are thinking about in their head. So I love it.
Oh yeah, it's in the ingenuity that we're starting to see in the figure eight is something that you see in the demolition derby world time after time again, and these guys are just pushing each other with their builds, and we love it. All right, our next driver, Brandon Thompson, driving an 03 Cavalier, 7 years of experience. Last year he got third in the California Hobo figure eight. We had him on the podcast earlier in the year. He talked about maybe stepping up to the actual series this year, and that's car that you see. I've seen a lot of Facebook banter back and forth, so I'm kind of curious to see exactly where that's going to play out on the track. I can't wait to watch that take place. One thing I'll say about Brandon during that California race, that car was on a rail, and he was wheeling it for sure. I think he actually got hung up there for a couple laps, like a lap or two. He kind of got hung up, and that put him back a little bit of ways, but that car was on a rail that night.
Yeah, he comes from just a great figure eight family. His mom worked real closely with Gary. I think she ran the thing for a few times, or for a few shows. It seemed like she was always at the front desk. So yeah, just a great kid, comes from a great family. I hope to see him around a lot more than we did last year.
Yeah, that's for sure. And this year he probably won't be lining up cars for us. Man,
Well, if he's going to be at the track, he needs to do something.
Yeah, that guy bought a rider pass, and he ends up lining up cars for us one night. But all right, our next driver here. Sorry, I was looking. What's up, Swags Derby Shop? Just checking in on our live feed comments. Great run down south. Sorry your fuel pump went out, but Swag ran in Arkansas this past weekend, and his car looks pretty mint still. And yep, I was right. The Honda was old Hazard. Right, our next driver is none other than Pimp City himself, Seth the Westfloor, driving a number 95, or driving a 95 Corsica with 3 years of figure eight experience. And this is one of the drivers that we've seen improvements over the years. 2020, 66th place. 21, 23rd. Cut that in half with 22. We got 12th place last year, a close 12th. He was right there for 11th almost. And his average heat race finish was 3.61, another really good heat driver that we seen last year. One of the guys that you find in your heat, you're going to be watching over your shoulder, knowing that that's going to be some stiff competition for you to be dealing with. And then if you look up there, it's 36 spots gained in the A main and 22. That was pretty high on the passes, like for the hard charger award that Joshua does. And also pulling off 6 top 10s.
Yeah,
One thing
and talking with, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Joshua. Probably gonna be the same thing.
Just saying, talking with Seth, it sounds like with the team change, the free agent went to a different team, is going to kind of adapt to that BAS driving style, kind of to take no prisoners and turn his driving style away. That'll be a welcome sight for us. It seems like Seth in past years, he kind of just got pushed around, let people go in front of him. I can't wait to watch him drive this year and give him so much shit if that driving style returns.
Yeah, and one thing I gotta say is, he hit the nail right on the head. He had a team change again. This is our free agent of the figure 8, coming to the team BAS this year. A lot of there's a lot of experience in that shop as well. He's been around both the DVR guys and the BAS guys, so he's been around a wealth of knowledge throughout the last couple of years here in the figure 8, and also with the One Night Stand Racing team as well. He's been around some really good drivers, some legends of the sport. I'm sure he's been, corralling the most information he can to improve his driving. He's just one of them guys he's just got a good spirit about him. You can't see that guy, anywhere, and he's not smiling or, having a good time. And he's just got a great attitude about the sport in general. You see him walking around, be sure to stop and talk to him. He's just a good guy to talk to and be around.
Yeah, he is a Ryan Fitzpatrick of figure 8 racing. He's got a great attitude, good look to him, but man, you never know what team he's on. He'll be on the Dolphins one year, he's on the Jets one year. You just never know. So I'm interested to see how all Seth does. I'm excited. What do you think he has to improve to get him to the next level? You see in his chart, he went from 60th to 20th to 12th in points. What's gonna be the factor to break him into the top 10 or even top 5?
I think it's going to be in his cornering that we see this year. In the past, I've watched some videos. You watch him, he'll swing way out wide. I think he's going to be sticking that, he's going to be sticking right to that tire this year a lot more and looking ahead to what's coming across the center, because if he sticks to his word about just going and not slowing down, he's going to have to pick the right path. And that could be the game changer for him.
Well, if you believe in premonition or foreshadowing, if that's going to be the case, I would hate to be Wes or Landon or anyone else on the BAS team if you look at his first performance of the year at Lebanon, because whenever he rolled his buddy Xander in the other BAS car.
Yeah, we couldn't let him get off here without talking about that for a second. Yeah, man, talking about setting the internet on fire. Man, once he did that, there's a TikTok out there. I think it was Dustin Jordan or something. Didn't miss a beat, man. That thing was up before I even got home that night. He had a little help, but I think it was in reverse too. I'm not sure. Kind of reminded me of watching Brady Smith back up across the track at a team show and get parked on a block. But just wasn't watching what was behind him. Actually, did you see the meme that someone made about it?
I must have missed it.
Oh, there's a meme out there. I wish I would have screenshotted it. It's like when your buddy pisses you off or something like that, and it's got a picture of him just rolling his teammate over, old Xander. Our next driver is the driver of the number 76J, Jarrett Hatch, driving an 02 Cavalier with 6 years of experience, and that car is freaking fast. And one thing we'll say about Jarrett, you never know who's going to be driving his car. Man, you show up to the race and he's all ready to go, and he goes, "Oh, I'm not even driving. I'm letting this person drive my car tonight." He's like another recruiter, except he's like, "Let's just give you some in-life experience on this driving stuff." But Jarrett, I actually followed him around a little for a couple laps at Versailles, and he's starting to really get that car dialed in, and he was taking some corners really good, and that thing had a lot more power than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems like he always has good equipment. I think he got hurt. I think it was 21, or maybe it was last year that he was trying to get over that injury. But yeah, he's awesome to have around the sport. He was up there in Lebanon in a big car. You never know what he's going to show up in. So it was good to see him out there in a big car in Lebanon, and I guess he's coming to Russellville. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know if he's going to show up or not. That was pretty awesome to see him roll out there in a big car. I was like, Garrett Hatch driving a big car, and he actually used to compact derby, if I remember right. He'd always, I remember talking to him at Jeff City with you guys, and he was the compact derby guy down there. Always ask, just down there to talk and have a good time and talk about who he's going to go take out that night or whatever. All right, our next driver, the number 56, Blaine Tobin, the barbaric builder himself, driving an 04 Cavalier with 14 years of figure eight experience. And, he's one of the drivers I think that's due for another good year. In 2020, he's got 15th place in points, 21 in third. 22, he dropped back to 11th, and I think he's looking to recap or reboot back into his original form in 2023. Talk about a guy that pushes the rules and just builds top of the line stuff as that guy right there, Blaine. He's got years and years of experience, and probably, in my opinion, one of the best welds that I see are from his cars that he builds.
Yeah, for sure.
So in this pick,
yeah, he sets the line, I think, for the figure eight builders. Just as far as building goes, I know there's a whole lot more to racing and derbying than the build, but as far as builds go, man, he has them down pat. Just coming out and innovating with new equipment, seeing a weak spot in a car and trying to fix that, or just inventing new ways to kind of build these figure eight cars. The father of the Dummovuth build.
That's right. Man, he's tried all kinds of things. You remember that? What was it? That 13K car? It looked like a dang. I think that's where it all kind of started coming into form with that one.
Had air brakes in the back. or airbags, not air brakes, airbags.
Yeah, airbags. And last year he gained 22 spots throughout the A mains. And we say when you gain spot, that just means from where you start to where you finish, not the passes that happen in between. Because if you guys that are listening and never came to our shows, you could pass 5 cars in one lap and then get passed by 5 different cars the next lap. That's just how it goes in our figure 8 series. Average heat finish is 3.07, which is pretty good. One of the better DBR heat racers that are out there. And 7 top 10s in 22. Something I think Blaine's going to improve on this year, and it's something that his teammate Dylan Chilton has actually said on the air on the Crashed It podcast is his patience and stuff through the middle. And I think that we're going to see that happen this year as well.
Yeah, and just going into the opening night, I think Blaine's been a driver that has really struggled at Russellville. So I'll be interested to see if he's able to kind of break out of that funk at the Russellville track.
Yeah, I think he's had some tough runs there at Russellville, just some tough luck, and just something that we're one of them things that you just never know on opening night what it could bring. And something we haven't really talked about yet. We'll talk about it here in a little bit, but every year it seems like we'll have that breakout driver, that driver that we don't really talk about much or hear about much that's going on, and all of a sudden they're there, and it's just like, wow, who's this guy? And then this guy is just, that's something that we see every year. And every year I just wonder who's going to be that driver this year. Our next driver is Nathan Dummovuth, the driver of the 20.8. He's known as the legend, and that's because he is a legend here at figure 8 sport. One of the nicest guys to talk to. He'll help anyone. 15 years of experience. Last year, I think he was the hard charger, if I remember. 66 A main spots gained in 2022, which is really impressive for any driver. Last year, we seen Nate kind of return to his form, but he's been if you just look at the stats, they're 2022 second in points, 21 fifth in points, 23rd in points. This guy constantly is a front runner or favorite to win a point series, and perfect attendance last year and 13 top 10s. It's hard to get it any more consistent than that. I think he was actually the most consistent driver we had last year as far as top 10s go. And he does pretty good in his heat too, 3.25. That's just a little shy of Blaine's 3.03 that we had on here in a little bit. But
yeah, I think
that means
that was the ninth race, but I think even further than the driving for Nate, it's just, man, you can't find a nicer, more humble guy in the sport of figure 8. He brings so much class to figure 8. He's never really involved in the drama, or he's not bringing drama to the track. People hate winners, so it seems like drama will sometimes find him, but he's the first one to try and calm everybody down. And he's just a huge supporter of the sport. I'll be interested to see what he's running opening night. I know at the last show of last year, that car he was running was, man, it was on its last leg. I think they fixed it probably 40 times, and that thing was so bent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think I have a pretty good idea, but and that was by accident too. That was because I went to his tire shop to get some tires, and they had it on the back of someone's wrecker, and might have been Jordan Tobin's, but it was a car that I see a future figure eight life in. I'll just say that if it's not for this year. But our next driver is none other than Brenton Sharp, driver of the 29X, running a 90s Grand Am. I think that car is ready to run again. He's got 7 years of experience. And Brenton's that driver that, to me, he's been there. It seems like he's right there and due for a win. He picked up a win, I think it was a year or two ago at one of the bump and run races. And he kind of found, he started to find his groove with figure eight series with that same car. And last year we seen him running in the heats and stuff. He was in third, second, first place. He was winning a heat in this car right here. Took a really bad shot in the rear quarter panel, knocked his whole rear end out. And he didn't have enough power to drag it around to the win. Then California, he came all the way through the B's, and his gas tank was dragging. He wasn't able to make the A last year, so he actually made the A. He just couldn't start.
Yeah, his best finish of the year was the June show in Eldon. And for people that don't know, this is Jonathan's son.
They give me crap. That's I help him out a lot, or I'll try to talk to him and give him advice. I've known him for a while. He's a really good kid to be around, and he's really starting to grow into this figure eight stuff. He's a derbier by heart, though. If you talk to him, he really likes demolition derbying, and he really wants to be in full size stuff all the time. But figure eight's kind of his way of getting that urge out of there. Here and there, and he's actually coming along pretty good.
That's a shame because really, as far as driving goes in the figure eight series, at least, he's in the top 15, top 20 for sure. And like whenever I think about just driving ability on its own, doesn't seem like the equipment is ever up to par, but his driving is always there.
Yeah, it's starting to come along for him. I look for big things to see him show up to the track for sure. All right, our next driver, the number Jake Pembroke in a 96 Corsica. He's got 10 years of experience, well known around here as the Wheelman. That's my name that I've given him. His average heat finish last year was 4.43. So I was pretty shocked when I seen that, because he always seemed like he had a really fast car in the heats. And then I looked back, and man, he was flying around out there, but sometimes you just have a hard time putting consistent laps together. And we seen him break a couple things here and there mechanically. Last year he finished 13th in points, and he wasn't even running. I think he missed part of the season last year, trying to get that Dale Earnhardt replica car done that he got to drive last year. And then 21, he finished 11th, and then 20th, he was in 12th overall.
Yeah, in 21, he finished 11th. I think it was by a half a point or a point, just to push him out of the top 10.
Yeah. One thing you gotta say about that crew is you never know what they're gonna show up with. He likes being different. You can always expect something different from him. He didn't want to try the V treads last year. He was a big proponent of, I don't want to try them. I'm different. I don't want to be in that quick. And yeah, he ran this stock tires last year.
Yeah. And just touching back to your average heat race, his true average, would be how many races he was actually at. It's probably a much lower number than 4.43, but how we do the average heat race finish on the website is if you don't show up, you automatically get an 8 for that night. So it's not a true average. It's it's just there for that award is that calculation.
It makes more sense.
But yeah, he missed 5 shows and ended up in 6th or 13th. So man, if he was there, perfect attendance or perfect attendance -1 where you get the full points possible, I gotta think he would be one of the top 3, top 5 in points.
Yeah, I look for him to be in the top 10 this year. They've got a lot of good things going on over there at their shop, and I've got to see snippets here and there of it, and I just can't wait to see it transition to the track. That's another shop they're constantly trying new things or trying to push the builds further and further along to be able to compete with everybody. And I just can't wait to see how he does this year. Our next driver is Zach Burton, the driver of the number 01B. He's driving a 2005 Cavalier, 5 years of experience. Last year, you get in the heat with him, you better look out because this man was fast. Super hard to beat in the heat. And he had 10 top 10 finishes in 22 with finishing 6th place in points. His best season yet as an points go. 21, he got 16th in points. 20 is in 27th. So he's continuously improving. And seeing what's going on in the Burton garage this year that I've seen so far, I look for that trend to continue upwards. There's going to be some battles this year. That's all I got to say. These drivers are constantly pushing each other, and he's one that I call him rowdy because he gets rowdy out there on the track. He's not afraid to let it all hang out. Sometimes he said he was a little conservative, but I disagree with that. I've watched him drive too many races now to call him conservative. He'll call himself conservative, but if you watch him drive, he's rowdy out there.
Yeah, one of my favorites to watch. He definitely gets better every year. You see that 6th place finish, and man, he was just at times last year that you look at the track and you look at the field and just the lap times and the drivers navigating the landscape. He couldn't, if you were to put odds on that night, I think Zach was number 1. Like during the night, you're like, holy smokes, no one can stop this guy. So it's I'll be interested to see where he ends up in 23.
Yeah, he had New Bloomfield 1 last year, and he just got hung up in the wrong spot at the wrong time, like 8 laps in, 9 laps in. He was on a mission to win that one, and he just got hung up. And that's all it takes in this series to lose a race, getting hung up one time, and that's all it took that night. This next driver, we got to mention him. Driver of the number 40, Dustin Jordan, known as the Mailbox Man, 14 years of experience, 14th place in 22, 8th place in 21, 17th and 20th. He had perfect attendance last year, 5 top 10s, and an average heat finish of 3.57. He had a rough year last year. Even worse news came this year as he's going to sit this year out to heal up. He's been having some neck problems or something like that, some kind of problem physically with that he's going to try to mend up and get, to correct. That way he can come back next year. And I'm sure we'll see him around the figure eight scene. He just won't be in a car this year. And he's one of the guys that we love seeing him show up to the track. He's a good guy to be around, and he always is. He's good for the sport, and we're gonna miss seeing him on the track this year for sure.
Yeah, maybe Fred will be a little bit less rowdy this year. Is all I can say is. But yeah, I think Dustin made the right choice. I'm glad he did. He was telling me, forget where we were. I think we were at Carnage or maybe it was Bash that he was going to be out until September, and he was going to try and get back for the last couple shows. And that scared the hell out of me whenever he told me he was going to try and get back. And I just do the best thing for your body is what always comes to my mind. I know as a competitor though, as a derby driver, I'm like, man, I need to do whatever I can to get back there. If I die doing this, I know it's hardly ever that extreme, but if it's going to kill me or slowly kill me, at least I'm doing something that I feel alive doing and I love. But you really got to take care of yourself doing this. So
it kind of relates to an NFL analogy of say like a running back or a wide receiver trying to come off an ACL injury too quick. And that's just the way I feel as a competitor. You want to jump right back in the seat. Like he'd be there Saturday night driving if he could, if it was up to him. But, I think he's taking the right advice this year, and just he's gonna heal up and be better, bigger, faster, better than ever next year. And I think that's I think sitting out sometimes for a year for a guy with that much passion in the figure eight sport it's going to remind me of something like Dylan Chilton when he got hurt. I would be shocked to see Dustin not come back next year faster than ever. I think he's going to see some stuff sitting on the sidelines that are going to stick out to him, where he's going to say, I can get someone here or there just watching them. And I think that's what we're going to see next year out of him. Well, our next driver is James Fisher, the number 64 02 Cavy. Experience is 7 years. He may or may not be driving that this year. 26 days main spots gained. Last year, average heat finish of 2.89. So Fireball Fisher, he's one that you don't want to see in your heat. 6 top 10s in 22. 7th place overall in points, 9th and 21 in points, and 37th and 20. So he's found himself 2 years back to back in the top 10. He's really found his groove in the sport of figure eight racing. And something that I think he announced it on Facebook. His brother Alan is going to be coming this year. Them boys are going to be hard to beat. That's all I got to say. James is trying some new things this year, and I think it's going to put him, he's going to be one to beat this year. That's my prediction. I've seen personally what he's got going on there, and I think he's on to something that's going to help him out. So,
what's he got going on, Jonathan?
Oh, you guys will see. He's bringing it out, Russellville. So
you got to come Saturday night to find out. You got to come Saturday.
You'll have to come Saturday night to find out exactly what he's bringing. And if you're my YouTube faithful, you'll see it on the pit walkthrough later on in the week, but it won't be Saturday night.
Yeah, he that 2.89. It seems like, man, this guy's getting third every heat race. He's not doing that good, but that's number 5 throughout all of our drivers, which I think it was close to 100 or over 100 figure eight car drivers. So, man, that's that's saying something. He just keeps getting better. He's had the fastest car a few nights, it seems like. So I'll be excited to see what the old Fireball is going to break out. How the new setup handles.
Yep. And he might have some trial and error with that, but we'll see. Our next driver is Destructive Dustin Thompson. Driver, he's drives the 09 or the 04, the 04. He's driving an 09 Focus, 2 years of experience, 21 all the way down in 84th place. Comes back last year in 22, brings him down to 32nd overall in points. He drives with Team IMR, Integrity Motors Racing. I'm looking for, them guys that are really trying to make them Focuses work. It's always cool to see a different type of car out there. And he said, I'm not letting Bethany drive my cars this year. We built her own for the youth and all that stuff. And he said, I want to see what I can do this year. When I was talking to him about a week or two ago, he's bringing the same old car back, but he's fine-tuned it throughout the winter. And I look to see them guys in the future more often this year. I think he told me his goal for this year is top 15 in points.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Fords will work, but keep trying.
I told him he needs to get one of them rally Focuses, like in them rally racing. Focus RS is all-wheel drive, freaking turbocharged.
Yeah, I've never had a luck in a damn Ford. I think it was like 3 years ago, and it was Brian Malakote. He had like 4 or 5 of like it was the Focuses, just lined up, like the newer ones, like 2011 or something. He's like, man, I'm gonna perfect these things, and I'm gonna change the whole sport. And he ended up not going through with it, but I was gonna be really interested to see where that went.
Yeah. Yeah, they do good until they get hot. It's like Mode City. Your next driver, easy money, Dylan Chilton. He's driving an 04 Cavi, 5 years of experience. Last year's Worthy Bellbond Figure 8 Championship Series winner. In 21, he was second place in our Nathan's Tire Service Figure 8 Championship Series. And 20th all the way down to 60th, because that was the year he had to sit out part of the year due to injury. Most A-main passes this year, 88 for sure. That's got to be the thing.
Yeah, he won that because the guy's not very good in heat races.
As you can see,
he'll even tell you that.
His average heat's 3.43, and that's probably around 3. He missed a show or two. But you got to be better than third to make the features here at Lucky Sevens. And he's one of them drivers that he felt, and he always says, if I can get in the A main, I feel like I can win. And I don't know, Jacob noted this earlier in the year, maybe last year on the podcast. He's got that Michael Jordan effect to him whenever he has his own little swagger going on in the A main. He just seems confident, and you can definitely tell out there he's a super patient driver. He don't get rattled much out there, and I think that plays a big role in his finishes.
Yeah, and he's a driver that typically we spoke on it before, but he gets out in these hot starts. So he loves the first couple shows of the season. I think the last couple of years in Russellville, he's got like first or second the opening night. So he'll be the one to beat if he's there Saturday.
Yep, he's always been hard to beat at Russellville. He's always said he really likes Russellville, and he has good luck there. Your next driver is Misty Thompson, driving a Ford Focus. Last year was her first year with the series. She drove half a year with the series. He got 58th in the point series in 22. He finished 7th in the Powder Puff last year. Last year she actually made an A main in Sedalia, and proved that she can hang in there with the boys. And she's looking to make some more A mains this year and have a good time out there.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch how she just grows in her driving ability, just moving up to the boys. It'll be fun to watch.
I have a fun time just watching the bickering that happens on the team, like that within the team. Like her husband is Dustin Thompson, and they have competitions on who's the better driver and stuff. And man, he'll never hear the end of it if she puts that sucker in victory lane this year. It took me 2 years, Our next driver's driving a 26C of Adam Clancy, driving a 99 Neon. 3 years of experience. 21, he got 84th in points, 22 and 70th in points. He's been reworking that hand, trying to come back from a hand injury that happened on the track. One of the worst injuries we've had here at Lucky Sevens during the races. And we look forward to seeing him back in a car this year. I think he's going to be running with the Dowels, if I heard right.
The old budget bangers
That might be making a return this year.
left and then came back. The free agent Adam Clancy left budget bangers, went to BAS, and now he's taking his talents back to budget bangers. What a free agent story.
Yep, he's like LeBron James.
Yep.
He's got to go where it's right, the right fit is. They can be the three-headed monster now.
Yeah. He was really like progressing, just like really super in improving before that rollover that he had during that bump and run. So hopefully he'll be able to get back into that form.
Yeah. Our next one is a youth driver, Hunter Bish, the Roadrunner. He had 2 years of youth experience. Man, Hunter's he's one to beat out there in the youth class. And last year, I think he probably, if there was the youth points, he probably would have won the youth points. Him or Hayden, them two, and who was the other? Leland Bell. They were battling there towards the end of the year. And that was kind of the little rivalry we started talking about. They were talking about where's Hunter finishing, where Leland would say, I'm trying to beat him, or he would say, I hope Leland don't beat me. And that was just a cool thing to be part of last year. He's his dad's Chad Bish. He's on here later on, but he's following right in Dad's footsteps, and that's got to be cool for Chad, having a son come up right behind him and continue on the sport they both love.
Yeah, if Chad don't watch it, he's gonna go right on past him. The kid he's a heck of a kid, and he's a heck of a driver too. I love his attitude and his passion for the sport. It's really it's a great thing. It's a great thing for figure eight racing. And on that youth points, I forgot to mention this, but I do think we're going to throw together like a youth point series. We're still on the fence about whether we want to publicize it, throughout the year and update the points on the website, just because we don't want kids taking each other out for points or anything like that. I don't know. We're still talking it over amongst ourselves, but we are going to throw a little bit of money at a youth point series, maybe
Oh,
trophies
that'd be cool.
or parts or something.
Yeah. Next driver is the number 96, Tim Brockman, driving a 98 Camry, 3 years of experience, TNT Motorsports himself. 22 finished 31st place, 21, 26th place. He seems like to me the bigger tracks he's there on, man. He likes them bigger tracks, and he seems to be harder to beat at the big tracks, and he's still trying to figure out these small ones. I look for him to improve on his journey this year. Um, I'm thinking he's going to finish within top 20 this year at least. I haven't got to see any of his stuff coming out this year, but I know I heard a lot at the end of last year. They're going to totally revamp everything. So I'd be excited to see what they show up with on Saturday night.
Sounds like it's going to be a Camry, from what I hear.
He likes them Camrys.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy, and really got a car from Brian Nichols and drove it better than Brian Nichols did. Think his first year. So there's something there. We just gotta hone in on it, Timmy.
The next driver is Kyle Wardenhausen, driving a Cavalier, 5th year. Last year, man, this guy was on tear. Won the inaugural race for 28. Finished 3rd in points. In 21, he finished in 4th in points. And 20th, he finished in 7th in points. Last year, he said he wasn't running for points, and I think that changed throughout the year. He decided he's going to start running for points. At the beginning of the year last year, he said, "I'll only going to run a couple races," and he ends up running pretty much all of them. And well, who wouldn't? I mean, he shows up to the track and he just makes things happen. And I know this year he said he's going to chase the Derby and around a little bit. But Kyle, man, you're listening. Looking at them finishes and stuff from last year, man, it's hard for me not seeing a figure 8 car this year. I mean, you're a tough competitor and a hell of a driver, so I don't know.
Yeah, that 7.43's got the right trajectory to really just catapult himself into the getting his name on that cup, that coveted cup that we have. So
yeah, that's what they're all chasing eventually. But here he is, Chad Bish, our next driver. He drives the number 09. 6 years of experience, 20 and 20. He finished 5th in points. 21 is the 14th in points, and 22 is 26th in points. Chad, I think he's one of them drivers you just got to look out for. When he shows up to actually drive, be ready because he's a heck of a driver. The last couple of years, he's really been helping Hunter along with his youth stuff, and as any dad should. But man, I tell you, he's a good driver. When he's out there, I look for him to be finishing up in the front. He's a really good guy to be around the team.
Yeah, great guy. Kind of like an old school builder, I'd say, old school driver, which we've seen it work tremendously some places, and then the next race it may not work the same, but yeah, love to watch him wheel a car.
We're getting down to our last few drivers here. Yep. And Corey Burton's our next driver. You get to see part of his new build. Driving a Cavalier this year. Last year, he's finished 22nd in points, or 25th in points. And 21, he finished 43rd. This year, he said he put all of his he put a lot into this build to try to improve. He wants top 5, top 10 finish it. He wants to be in the top 10, top 5 in points. It cost him I think he said he had to build his wife a closet or girlfriend or maybe I think it was his wife. He had to build her like a walk-in closet so he could put this car together. And man, I see him all the time and I love it. They put like that sparkle paint that you see on a bass boat. They put that flake in the paint. So we got a couple bass boat cars going out there. And man, these bills look good. They're impressive. I've seen Corey and the car in the background. I've seen their cars and they're looking really good. They're going to be competitive this year, I think. Corey, Corey's always been, I call him the Bash brother. His idea is to finish ahead of Zach, and he feels like he's the better driver. And I love seeing that sibling rivalry out on the track. And they both drive really hard out
Yeah, I'm excited. He's a hell of a driver. A guy. Anytime he's in the car, that I think can wheel a car to win. So looks like a good build. He's typically shown up in like junk in the past, so it'll be good to see him in something that looks like he's took time in, he's built it right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He said, "Man, I got more time in this car than I've had in like 5 other ones combined." He said,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of time invested in this car. I can't wait to see it perform out there. I know he's excited to get in it too. That's for sure. There's the car you see in the background. This is the 09L of Nick Long driving an 03 Cavi. 5 years of experience. They kind of built these kind of together. Back in 2020, he ran the top 10 series points. And then last year we see him drop down 29 or 21 in his 29th place, and 22 he's 28th place. So I think the build speaks for itself. He's ready to return to the top 10, top 5 in points. He wants to go out there and perform at the best level he can. And to do that, sometimes you got to have the best equipment you can. So I look forward to big things out of Nick. He's always been fast, it seems like, but I think last year he had more mechanical problems than a lot of the drivers out there.
Well, Nick's already started his 2023 off with a win. He just got engaged to Jocelyn, who's been a driver in our Figure 8 series. So, congrats go out to them. Hopefully, your wedding's not on a Figure 8 weekend, but they're an awesome couple, and he's already starting off with the win. Hopefully,
oh yeah.
It's probably think if I could just parlay that into a Russellville win, we'll call it good. We get some money to help pay for that wedding.
Yeah, there you go. And then the last driver that sent us a picture, and we got a couple more I want to mention on here before we get off. Johnny Edgar. And this was the driver last year I felt like was one that came out of nowhere for us. 21. 98th place in points, 22 all the way down to 19th. Didn't even make it to all the shows. His average heat, as you can see, 5.5, but he ended up the season with 2 top 10s. And when he started driving that car that you see in the picture, that's where it all flipped for him. I felt like, man, he showed up to that car in Eldon and he put on a show. And he made his mark on the field and let them know he was there to race hard. And he was one of the favorites actually going into some of them races as someone that could potentially win it. Wasn't able to put it together yet, but we had him on the podcast, and he really just wants to chase that first feature win. And I think he can do it. He's got the talent. He's got the speed. We've seen his lap times, and think he could put it together.
Yeah, and he's got the support behind him to make a run. I mean, that IMR crew seems like his mom's really got his back. Got a good team behind them, so it'll be fun to watch the whole IMR crew and their development. They're kind of a new team that's been around, demolition derby and figure eight for a while, but he's kind of got that competitive instinct in him, I think.
Yeah, just some people I want to talk about. And Jordan Piter, I can't wait to see what he shows up with. He's got a side bet going on this year, and with another driver. I think it's like a $500 side bet who can finish higher in the points, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
This Jordan Piter can never make up his mind whether he's running for points or not. Whenever he called me, I was saying it's like 2 weeks ago. He's like, I'm only gonna run a couple shows. Then he FaceTimes me like 2 days ago. He's like, hey, check this out. Man. This is what I got coming. I've got a couple running coming in the shop later on. It's like, holy smokes, Jordan, figure it out.
Man, he showed up to, I think it was New Bloomfield last year. He had like 5 cars. He said, I'm going to make the A main. Dang it. Tonight, I'm going to make the A main. I think he put extra money towards the A main too. He was confident he was going to make the A and bring back that money. But one thing I got to say
already
about Jordan,
talking about up in New Bloomfield purse. It's like, we're making that thing 1,000 to win.
Hey, one thing I got to say is you drivers should shake his hand because, man, last year he was putting in extra money, a lot of shows to make them a little bit better for all the guys. And he's a big proponent of the sport of figure eight. And, he wants the shows to be successful. He wants the fans to get a good show. And, man, that's just awesome. I kind of look forward to seeing him. He's a good guy to be around. He does anything for anyone. He's super busy though. He runs that lawn care company. He's super busy. Another driver that I'm looking forward to this year, we've seen him progress, is Dawson Gump. He could be another potential front runner this year that comes out of nowhere. I can't really say out of nowhere because we seen spurts of him last year where he just drove. He'd leave on 5. I mean, but he drove really good last year. So who's your who do you think's gonna be up there at the end of the year?
Oh, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah, this will segue good into our kind of next segment here, Jonathan. So me and I guess all 3 of the Wood brothers, or 4 of us, we're kind of into sports betting. We're really into sports gambling. So we're going to kind of, pretend like we know what we're talking about, or like we're analyst here, like we're on ESPN, or we're talking about gambling. So this is just fun opinions. We're not trying to light a fire under anybody, but just kind of have fun with making predictions for 2023. We're not going to change the way we officiate or anything like that over this or anything like that, but it'll just be for the podcast.
Yeah, this is just for fun. As he said, we make a lot of predictions and stuff, and we have fantasy football, fantasy everything. We're big sports fans, and we play sports and stuff like that, so it just rolls over, and we bet on everything. I mean, we're not
Yeah,
we're
the
not betting
big
on this. So
yeah, the sport that we love the most is figure eight. So but yeah, starting off just kind of under that premise, who do you think is the best bet if we're setting odds, like odds on favorite to win? It may not be the driver that you think's going to win, but just going into the season, knowing what you know with the drivers, with their new equipment, who's the favorites? Like name the three or two.
uh, three favorites that I'd say would be James Fisher, Nathan Dummovuth, and I'm gonna go with Blaine this year. Actually,
Yeah, so we're gonna have some crossover here. I think the odds on favorite, in my mind, just especially if you look at your stats, it's got to be Nate Dummermuth. I mean, with his consistent finishes, they call him the legend. I just think if you're going off of odds, Nate's got to be up there. I'm gonna say Jake Pembroke. If you look at his average finish last year, he missed 5 shows. Seemed like whenever whenever he showed up, he showed out. So he'd probably be a betting favorite. And I'm gonna go back with Blaine. Like you said, he's got the equipment. Seems like Chilton may be stepping back and Blaine stepping up in the it seems like last year he took a lot, like he took some for the team. He would set out a feature just to get Chilton some points. So yeah, those would be my three, kind of betting favorites.
yeah,
Not necessarily.
Chilton's got he's got a newborn coming. Congrats,
Yep.
man. So that might set him back a little bit, but
Yeah,
so who's your
I'm guessing he would be in either of our top threes if he was planning on having perfect attendance again or missing one show.
give me two long shots that you think they're there and they might just go over the top this year?
Yeah, I got I'm gonna say probably one that we just talked about is Johnny Edgar. He's young, up and coming. He's really got that fire in him. I think he's got that that sports background, that competitive edge, and just that want to improve. And he's kind of taken a different approach, I think. So he would be one. I don't know. I want to say maybe Zach Jewell as a long shot. Probably not a name that you were expecting, but it seems like he's got the good equipment. He's making new parts. He just ran into some bad luck and possibly some bad driving or some some bad driving into him. But yeah, those would be two long shots. Who's
I
yours?
think, oh man, that's a tough pick. I mean, there's so many good drivers out there, and that I could think 20 drivers right now that I could think would win the points, that could win it all, and could win the first night for sure. But I'm gonna have to go with I think Dylan White's gonna come back up through there.
As a long shot, that's not a long shot. He finished top 10 last year. It's got to be
All
someone
right,
who finished
it'll be
outside of
out
top
top
10.
10. Let me renege on this thing here. Um, out of the top 10. Shit.
Yeah,
Take
someone
both
out of the
my
top 10 that's got the chance to finish top 5. That's the definition of long shot that we're going with here.
All right, hold on. Gotta pull up my thing here.
This is great radio, Jonathan.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say Jordan Young.
Okay.
Nope. Just kidding. He finished ninth. I'm gonna say I'm gonna
We
say
stopped him
my
here,
first.
folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my first one, Corey Jenkins. That guy's been so fast, and he showed that he's got fastest laps potential, and I just think he's gonna put some stuff together this year. And then the next one is I'm gonna go with the one we just showed, Corey Burton. I think he could come. I mean, I'm impressed with the build I've seen. I think he's got the potential and the bloodline of just the people to help him out to get him there. And I think they're both going to be ones to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, I like those. All right, this you just get to pick one, but most improved driver.
Most improved driver.
Yeah, prediction of 23. Who's the most improved driver? And it could be someone we've already named.
My most improved driver this year is going to be, I think we're going to see, I honestly think we're going to see.
All right, I'll just go with mine while you're stalling. I think my most improved driver is going to be the pastor of Pimp City, man. If he's true to his word, I think that the pastor Seth Floor really has a chance to improve on his driving more than anyone else.
I think Landon Dow is gonna. We seen big improvements last year, and I think this year, he was one of my thoughts of being a long shot, but I think this year he's gonna be a lot more improved than we've seen him in the past. I think over the year we're gonna see that kid grow exponentially.
Yeah, I've got a dark horse candidate for this, and it's Justin Albin. If that guy ever can put in a full season, I think his improvement will be off the charts.
And then I've got a dark horse too. Is Alan Fisher's my dark horse.
I like that.
We seen his driving ability in that bump and run with the Kia, and just knowing what he's stepping into, getting ready to be. And I think you're going to be watching out for that kid too. But man, there's so many good drivers. It's hard to choose, you guys. Or we're not just, I mean, it could be any one of you guys listening. We're just having fun here.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this thing in sports gambling. It's like a pick 3 or a pick 4. Just who's going to do better than the other two. So we got a couple of these that I'm just going to shoot out to you, Jonathan. We'll kind of do these rapid fire. So who do you think is going to finish the highest in points on the DBR team in 2023?
Oh, I'm going to say Blaine.
All right, I'll go. Go Nate.
I think Blaine's going to put together this year. I really do.
All right. Top in points again from Team BAS.
I think Landon, guy's so passionate, and he last year, a lot of people don't know, but he was fighting. He was fighting his car a lot, his engine and stuff, and he was still finishing pretty good. And he was prior points champion, and I think he's going to be another competitor that's going to be right up there.
I'm going Seth. Dark horse, long shot for the top 3. He's got to be like plus 1,200, like 12-1 odds. Taking Seth as best BAS. All right. Best driver from the new Bloomfield Holt Summit clan. So this is the Burtons. This is Pembroke. This is Nick Long's team. Fighters.
I'm gonna say bro, I think Corey's gonna show his brother how it's up what's up this year.
I'll go Pembroke, sticking with my favorites pick.
Yep.
All right.
I think Pembroke's gonna be right there too, but I really can't wait to see what Corey does in a good car.
All right. Best IMR finisher. Integrity
I'm
Motors
going.
plan.
I'm gonna say Jared Snurich.
Garrett Snurch. Here's Johnny.
Over Johnny, I know.
Pick the
I just
favorite.
think Jared, he's been right there a lot of shows.
All right. Best out of the FFR / White's Automotive clan. So this
I'm
is
going.
Dylan. This is
Yeah.
Fireball.
I think Fireball is gonna be I really think he's one to watch out for. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on you, James, but I'm just saying.
Well, those they have their own kind of bets going on. Like they just want to beat each other. Like Dylan and James just want to beat each other in points. So it's fun to watch that.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
fun to watch Jonathan Edgar and Dustin Jordan had the same thing going on, but man, he's like, man, I don't even know if I should race this year.
All right. Best FR team, FR Racing. So the Ferguson clan.
Dustin.
You're taking Dustin. I'll take Garrett. I think the younger brother's got the driving advantage over the older brother. He might be a bit better builder though. All right. I know the young Myers don't all show up to every race. Usually it's just Jordan with the perfect attendance, but the one to win a race or win multiple races.
Man. I'm gonna go with Matt. I think we've seen a big improvement with him last year. He showed last year right off the bat. He brought home the win, first race of the year last year, and I think he's an early favorite to do the same.
Yeah, I think he did win the first show last year, didn't he? I'm gonna say Jordan's got a win or two under his belt this year. I think he ended up with a win last year, but
Yep, they both won last year.
man, that whole family can drive.
Yeah, when Joe showed up to a couple races last year, he was nothing to mess with either. He was right up there with them.
Yeah. All right, some over-unders. I know we're running along. This is our preview episode, though. Over-unders, over-under on the car count. We'll set it at so over-under Russellville first night car count. I think last year we had 53. We'll set it at 52 and a half.
I'm hoping for over. I think you'll get over that.
I'll say under just because I just always am worried about car counts the first couple nights of the season. So we'll go under.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to get over.
We'll see. All right, over under the car count for the first night. We'll set it at, number of Grand Ams that are signed in. We'll set it at 9.5.
Grand Ams. There's gonna be 13.
13. You're going over the 9.5. I think I'm gonna go over too.
That's what I'm saying. There's 13 that are gonna show up.
You're saying you're Vicky Valancourt. I said 13. All right. Again, just going with the copycat. How many 3100s or 3400s are we seeing?
Oh yeah, you're seeing.
We'll set it at 6.5.
Over.
Over?
Ooh. Over. I bet you. I'll make a bet right now.
I set the line at 7, so Yeah, I think seven's the number. So over 6.5. All right, how many V treads? We'll set it at 20 sets. 20 sets of V treads.
That's a tough line there. I'm gonna say over.
Over 20 sets of V treads, really? All right, I think that's going to be under. I think a lot of people seen at Russellville in particular that V treads won't pay off like they will at other tracks. But, we'll see. We'll see. All right, Cavaliers. I know that the shift's kind of going away from Cavalier to Grand Am or the Grand Am body style. Now there's a bunch of different ones, but how many Cavaliers?
Huh?
How many Cavaliers?
We'll set it
at 17.
Under
17. Well,
I'm gonna say it's about 15.
15. I'll go over. I bet there's still plenty of Cavaliers.
Think you're gonna see a lot of Malibus. A lot of Malibus this year. That's what I bet.
Yeah, Malibu, Monte Carlo, one of those Oldsmobile Aleros, that kind of K-frame body style. Yeah. If that's the case, it is like it's a lot more copycat than I thought, because what we see maybe 4 Grand Ams body style last year, that were there every night at least. So, all right, last one. We see this shift, the shift in the culture where figure eights was this individual sport. Now it's going to teams. Over under 8 teams. He's counting, folks, for those that can't see him on this podcast. He's counting.
For those that listen on Spotify, I'm counting with my fingers here. I'm gonna say, how many teams you say? 8?
8.
Yeah, over.
Over 8.
I think right. We're gonna have 11 there that I can think of. Don't let me down, Italian Stallion.
Awesome. Yeah.
Don't let me down, Italian Stallion.
That would be awesome. I mean, if there's 11 teams, I think that would be right at that number. So, oh man, that's the all for the betting segment, for the analyst segment. This is the last one. We'll put you on the spot here. You got one dart throw. Who's winning it all for 2023?
I think Fisher's going to win it all this year.
That's your points champion.
That's who I think is going to win points this year.
All right.
I mean, there's only 40 people to guess from in my head, but yeah. I'm pretty blind, so I just throw darts and hope they hit something.
Yeah, there's so many. Oh man, if I had to guess, I'm a promoter. I don't have to play this game.
That's right. I'm just an announcer. I just guessed.
I'm gonna cop out. All right. We can't play this one though. Who's winning Saturday? I'll go. I'm going to say Chilton. Just keep the momentum going from last year's championship. I think he's got it.
I'm going to throw one way out here. It's going to shock the world, but except for some people. I'm going to say Garrett Ferguson. Starting out on fire.
That'd be awesome. Did you hear that, Garrett? You got the announcer rooting for you now.
I'm rooting for everybody. You should hear me up there, man. But No, I just to close this one out, man. We're so excited to see you guys run Saturday night. I hope this podcast gets you guys your final bit of energy to push you there and get you guys to show up. We appreciate all the fans that are going to come out and support this too. It's a big show. It's always the one that we kind of look forward to. And like Joshua said, him and Jacob, girls, they're all nervous for every year, just because there's so much that rides on that first show. And we just appreciate everybody that supports us. Really, really do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous as all get out about, just like you said, about the first show turnouts. Is everything in order? Is everything still going to work? Or the transponders going to work like they should after sitting outside of people's garages in the snow for a year? There's so many things going through my head just as we talk right now. But as you can see, we are freaking excited. I don't know how long to talk to. Probably 2 hours or an hour,
Yep.
an hour and a half.
It's 2 hours.
So I mean, we're there's so much stuff that goes into the figure eights, from the time the drivers are spending on these cars to the wives and the families that are spent away, and just so much goes into this sport just to put out an entertainment product for people to watch and for them to compete against each other. And it's just, man, there's nothing better. There's nothing better in motorsports. There's no better actual sport than figure eight racing. And I think, what are we, 3 days away? 3 days away to hearing those cars. 3 days away now, whenever you guys will be listening to this. So, man, fire them up. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yep. All right, everybody, just go out there and send it. Okay, that's what we want to see. We wish everybody the best of luck. That's going to end episode number 43 on the Crash It podcast. Good luck, everybody. We can't wait to see you there. See everybody Saturday, Russellville, Missouri, 7 p.m. That's when the show starts. Be there.